Hey, second grade art friends, it's Mrs. Herbay. We're going to continue our bear project today, and we're going to do a couple things. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make some paws for our bear. Now that he has his sweater ready to go, we are going to make some paws, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you're going to do is, I sent you home a packet this week. It was folded up and there were things in there for you to make a blanket for the bear, which we're going to get to next week. But there was also a piece of white paper and there was this piece of folded paper. All right. So the first thing that we're going to need is the white piece of paper. And what I want you to do is pretend like the bear is tucked into, sort of pretend like this is a blanket, like that. And what's going to happen is we're going to draw two curved lines underneath where the end of the sweater ends on the arm. So we're going to draw a curved line here. And you can decide how far out you would like it. So there's one curve. And then I'm going to draw, oops, paper shifted a little bit. There's my second curve, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna slide that out from underneath the bear's paws, or arms, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna extend the line up a little bit, and then we're gonna draw a horizontal line. And the reason we're doing is that we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of room to be able to glue this to the back of the bear's arm. So same thing on the other side. I'm going to draw up just a little bit, and then I'm going to go across the horizontal line. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a few curved lines on the ends of the paw, kind of where the bear's claws are. All right, so go ahead and do that. And then after we do that, we are going to take the same black marker that we used when we outlined the bear and gave him his fur texture. And what's going to happen is we're going to outline the paw. And then we're also going to give the paw some fur texture, just like we did for the bear's face. Just flicking the little lines up like that. All right, then we'll do the same thing to the other side. And then after we do that, we are going to grab our brown crayon. And again, just like we did before, we're going to color in, and I'm making a little bit of a darker value, kind of where the bottom lines of the paw are. And I'm coloring with a little bit more of a dark value on the edge here. Sorry, Mrs. Herbay is making the camera jiggle. So making the edges a little bit darker. In the middle a little bit lighter. I'm gonna kind of blend that. Okay, so there's one. And then I want you to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, all right? All right, guys, now that you have the two paws done, what we're going to do is we're going to cut them out. So I'm going to use my scissors. And I'm just going to carefully cut along the edge here. And there's one. And second one. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to line up the paws with the bottom of the arms. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm just going to put a little bit of a swipe of glue sort of just to the top part of the paw. And then I'm just going to slide it under there and then just give it a little smoothing. And there we have it. There's one. Then I'm going to take my other one, kind of swipe it back and forth with the glue stick, slide it up under there, and then give it a little bit of a massage. Okay, so now our bear has paws. The next thing after we put the paws on is what I want you to do is I want you to fold the arm up kind of like this. And you might say, why are we doing that? And I'm going to show you in a minute. So we're going to put that fold there. And then we're also going to fold up this one on this side. We're going to fold it straight up like that. Okay. And so there we have it. All right. So go ahead and do that. And then I'll show you the next step. Okay, guys. Now, what I wanted to show you is what we're going to do is we are going to glue our bear to the background piece of paper that I sent home to you. And the reason that we're going to do this is that we're going to be able to create sort of a bed for our bear. And then with the remaining part of this paper, we're going to be able to design the bear's bedroom. So what's in the bear's bedroom? When I drew mine, I had sort of a little carpet coming out from the bed. The bear has a pet kitty who's sleeping next to him. He's got this little nightstand. He's got a glass of water, a light. He has a window by his bed. So you can kind of think about what you want your bear's bedroom to look like. And the cool thing about this is that if we tilt the back of this paper up, the reason why the arms are kind of loose is then it looks like the bear's kind of sitting up in bed. So it's kind of cool. And next week, when we make our blanket, it will be even cooler because, I'll turn this around, then it looks like the bear's cozying in his bed with his blanket in his room, and it's kind of fun. So I thought with it being winter, it would be fun for us to create a cozy place for our little bear. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to get your bear onto your background piece of paper. So what we're going to do is you're going to grab your piece of paper that I sent to you that was folded in half, okay? And we're just going to unfold it. And what you're going to do is you're going to think about putting your bear either on the right side or the left side. It's kind of up to you what side you think you want to put the bear on. And depending on how big your bear is, you'll decide maybe where you want to glue your bear onto the paper. So, for example, if my bear was really wide, right, there wouldn't be a lot of room for me to design the bedroom. So if your bear was really wide, what we can do is you can slide him over and part of your bear can be going off the edge of your paper. So you can see probably from like here, the only part that's really on the edge of the paper is this part of the bear's sweater, and then the rest is hanging off the side. And that's perfectly okay. So you'll kind of make that decision. Another decision that you're going to make is how far up on the paper you want to glue your bear. Again, let's say your bear has a really long sweater. Maybe you want to then move your bear up a little bit so you have a little bit more of, because we want to leave enough space here for a blanket, and we don't want the blanket to cover too much of the sweater. So maybe probably we'll have some of the bear's head coming off the top of our paper. Maybe like, maybe about like that. And you, again, can decide exactly where you want to position your bear. Okay? Once you have that figured out, the reason why we folded the arms back is this, is what you can do is if you find a spot for your bear and you're really liking it, what you can do is you can just lightly take your pencil, and I'm just tracing around the edge of the bear's body there, and then I'm just gonna I'm not gonna trace all the way around the arm, but just a little bit there and a little bit with the head. And so what that will help me do is, you can see those marks there. And so what we can do is we can actually, so that I don't put glue where I don't need it on the back of the bear, what I can do is, now that I have these marks here, what I can do is I can take my glue stick and I can go around the outside of these marks. So I'm going around the perimeter with my glue stick, and then I'll just give a couple swipes on the inside. And then here's the cool thing. I'm going to keep making sure that the arms are up. So then I'm just going to line this back up with the lines there. And then I'm going to check the lines over here. And voila. And then I'm going to give it a nice big massage. And if you kind of want to see what it looks like on the back, so this is the part of my bear that's kind of coming off the edge of my paper. So now you can see, it's kind of hard to see the whole thing, but now you can see there is my bear on my paper. And then the cool thing is that I already have this fold in the paper. So then when I fold this up, that's going to put a fold in the bear's sweater like this. So now he can kind of sit up in his bed like that. So that's kind of a cool thing. And here it wasn't quite sticking. Maybe I didn't put enough glue stick right there. So I'm gonna just put a little bit more and give that a good massage. Okay. So I want you to go ahead, get your bear attached to your background piece of paper, and then we'll talk about bedroom design. All right, so if you happen to have your sketchbook at home, I might suggest that you break out your sketchbook first. And what we can do is we can brainstorm a little bit, and we can think about some things that you might want to include in the bear's bedroom. So you could think about, what do you want to put on the walls, right? Do you want a window? Is that important? Will the window have curtains? Maybe you don't want a window and you want a picture hanging on the wall, right? We can think about furniture. Okay. Do you want a dresser or a nightstand? Or I know somebody said last week in class they wanted their bear to have a mini fridge, which I thought was funny. So the cool thing about this is you are the designer, and believe it or not, an art related career is kind of an interior designer, and that's somebody who thinks about designing the inside of somebody's living space, right? And that can encompass furniture and wall decorations and floor decorations and things like that. You can think about, do you want a rug on the floor? Does the rug have a design? Right? What are some favorite things in the room, right? Are there toys? Are there pets? Trying to think of some other things. Mrs. Herbay's, oh, is there a light, right? Is there a light on, or any other things that you can think of? So maybe in your sketchbook, just kind of, you don't have to write these words down, but start to maybe think about, well, what's this going to look like, right? And one thing I wanted to show you guys that the kids asked me last week in our classroom, in-person classroom, was I drew this little nightstand kind of I made it look a little bit 3D, and the kids were asking me, hey, how do you do that? So I also kind of wanted to show you guys that if you were interested. you certainly do not have to do that. And if you wanted to, you can just draw things as you would see them straight on. So for example, if this was a dresser, I could just draw it what I would see looking straight ahead at it. So if this was, Mrs. Herbay didn't draw that line very straight, but that's okay. So let's say this was a dresser with 3 drawers. Okay. So, and then maybe these are the handles of the dresser. So you could draw it just like that, and that's perfect. Maybe then there's something sitting on the dresser. You can draw okay, so you can draw it like that, but there's also another way to draw it that makes it look a little bit more 3D. And in that case, what you would do is you would draw how it looks straight on. So if I was drawing that nightstand, I'm going to draw it, and this one's going to be a little bit different. There is the drawer, and then maybe there's a smaller drawer right there. Okay, so that's the straight on view. If I wanted to make it look more 3D, what I can do is on each corner of this, what's going to happen is I'm going to put a diagonal line. So I'm putting a diagonal line there, and I'm going to put one that's the same length as that one. I'm going to put one here and one here. And then what that's going to allow me to do is then I'm going to draw horizontal here. So it's going to meet up with that one. I'm going to draw a vertical one here, and then I'm going to draw a vertical one there. And there is my 3D nightstand. If I was going to do it to the dresser, if I thought about here's my corner, here's my corner, here's my corner. Now here's my corner, but if I draw the diagonal line there, we don't need to because it's hidden. We can't see that because it's going into the inside part of the dresser. So I would draw my diagonal line out, my diagonal line out, my diagonal line out. Okay, and then I would do my horizontal, and then I would do my vertical. Okay, now that may seem confusing because that's more of a upper level kind of art concept, but kids were curious about it, so I thought I would show it to you guys too. And so if you're interested in doing that, you can certainly play around with that. So once you do your brainstorming, okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to break out our bear in the background. Okay, so go ahead and get that back, and I will show you how we're going to start drawing the background. All right, guys, so since our bear is in a bed, we kind of have to decide where the edge of the bed is, okay? And so it could either be close, really close to where the bear's arm is, or we can move it over depending on how much space we have over here and what else we want to do with it, okay? The top of the bear's bed frame can be kind of right here, or maybe the bear doesn't really have a headboard or a frame for his bed. Maybe he just has the mattress that the bed is on, okay? So what you're going to do is we'll decide where it's probably going to be, we want to kind of figure out where the edge of the bed is, okay? So I'm going to say mine's going to be kind of right here. And what you want to do is you just want to draw a vertical line that goes next to the edge there and just kind of comes down to the bottom of the paper. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to decide, okay, is this just the edge of the bed, right? Or am I going to add on sort of like, and we can kind of do it where this fold is, or even a little bit further down from the fold, but you can decide, okay, is there a little post here? Kind of erase that line right there. And if there's a little post, what does it look like? So there's that. So that can be the edge of the bed. Maybe does part of the bed frame kind of go up and around? Okay. So there is the bear's bed. Okay. And you can kind of decorate it however you want. Maybe you wanted the curve of the bed to kind of come over this way, right? So you're going to kind of be the designer, and you can kind of figure that out. And because maybe you want the space up here to be free for you to draw something else, okay? Then you can figure out where, what else is happening here. So now that I have the bed, okay, we talked about if you wanted a carpet. So maybe you have a carpet that's coming out right here by the bed. But maybe you don't want the carpet to be rectangular. Maybe you want the carpet to be an oval. So it's totally up to you how you want to design it. And I was thinking, remember those carpets that kind of have, like, where they kind of have, they're like sort of like spiraled. Just got this idea. So I thought I'd experiment with drawing. Okay. So maybe it's like one of those like spirally rugs. Maybe the rug has fringe. Oops, you guys can't see that. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, it's totally up to you again. Then what's going on here? Is there a nightstand, right? Or a dresser. Maybe I'm going to put a little, since I have a little more space, I'm going to put a dresser here. So I'm going to draw my rectangle. All right. And I'm going to do that little thing with the diagonals. So now the edge of the dresser is kind of going off to the side. And I'm going to draw some drawers. Maybe there is, instead of handles, there's knobs. Okay. Maybe there's some toys on the floor. Maybe the bear has, depending on if it's a girl or a boy bear, maybe there's a baby doll that's laying on the floor. Up here, maybe there is a window above the dresser. Maybe there's a windowsill. I can think about, is there sort of window panes that divide the window up? Maybe there's no window panes. Maybe there's curtains. Or not. Maybe the curtains are long, right? So this is where you guys really can design it. What's happening outside the window, right? Maybe I want to draw like a little scene out there, so I can draw like a line across. Maybe that's the yard. Maybe there the bear has a really cool big tree in his yard, right? What time of day is it? Is it nighttime, or maybe it's daytime and he just woke up and the sun just rose? Maybe the bear has a couple favorite family pictures hanging on the wall. So you could draw some pictures on the wall. I can show you guys, it's kind of cool. If you draw if you draw diagonal lines that kind of come in like that, and then draw a little frame, that's kind of how you can draw a picture frame. So I'm going to go diagonal, 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 come down. Okay. And then maybe you can decide what's in those pictures. Maybe this is a picture of the bear. Maybe it was his school picture. So you get the idea. Maybe there's things sitting on his dresser, right? Like I drew before, I drew a lamp, so I kind of drew like, so you can kind of draw like an oval like that. And then I drew two vertical lines up like that. And then kind of a curve like that. And there's my lamp, and you might say, well, hey, wait a second, part of the window's in the way. Well, here's the cool thing. You can just erase the part. So there we go. You can kind of erase the part. This is Herbay's gonna fix that base a little bit. Okay. Maybe the bear has some Legos on the floor. So maybe make a big pile of Legos. Maybe the bear has like a basket of toys. So I could put a little basket here. And maybe it's full of, maybe there's a stuffed dog. Or maybe there's a baby doll. So you guys decide, kind of just have fun, kind of figuring out, and then if this was here, I would erase all the inside parts of that like that. So I just want you guys to have fun kind of figuring out what is happening in the bedroom. After you get it all drawn, what I'd like you to do is, it will look a lot cooler if you go ahead and outline it with black Sharpie, and then I'll let you decide how you want to color it in. You can use crayons, You can use colored pencils, you can use markers, you can use a combination, which might be kind of cool. You can also think about, I know at home, like sometimes there's where the wall meets the carpet, so you can draw that line there. Maybe there's like a little bit of the baseboard, and then maybe you want to color the walls. Like maybe what color is the bear's bedroom, right? Is there wallpaper on the wall? So you can decide all that too, all right? So once you get this all drawn, go ahead and we're going to outline it in Sharpie, and I'll go ahead and do that right now. And then if you want to start to color it, you can. But if you're worn out and it took a lot of time to design the bedroom, we'll finish it up next week. So there's no worries. Okay? So go ahead. I can't wait. Start designing your bedrooms, and then I'll talk to you about the next steps. All right, guys, the bedroom is pretty well designed. So I've got my carpet, I've got my basket of toys, there's some Legos on the floor, the dresser. I outlined everything, and then the really fun part will be adding the color, which Mrs. Herbay will do later. And then next week, we'll also work to finish off the bedroom, and I'm going to show you guys how to make a really cool blanket for your bear to go on his bed with him. And then the cool thing will be is that sometimes if you want it to sit up, it can, or he can lay back down. So I hope you guys have a great week. I cannot wait to see the bedrooms that you design for your bears, and I'll look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday.